guys are listening there in the background of the music, just hang with us. And we're going to have a great guest, Jen RULON, on in just a few minutes. And I think you'll be excited what she has to bring to the table that can improve your life starting this weekend. And we're not going to wait for the countdown to stop. We're going to be live at the top of the hour. Hey guys, welcome back to Executive Espresso Caffeinated Conversation with Dr. Heath and some of my special guests. And this is just our 18-minute caffeinated conversation where we try to share some insights from the world of business, leadership, and personal development. And goodness, today is going to be all about personal development and how you can actually, not sacrifice your health for running a business. And we'll be sharing some bite-sized tips from our blend. I have my blend here ready to go from psychology. Maybe I'll chime in with a little bit of neuroscience here. But our guest, Jen RULON, is a triathlon fitness coach for the last 22 years and owns Jen RULON, JenRULON.com. She has a master's degree in kinesiology. What all makes your body move and what you can do with that, with an emphasis in exercise science. She is the author of articles in Triathlete magazine, Runner's World, and Men's Journal Online, as well as the author of Self-Motivation Strategies for Women and a veteran speaker on the TEDx stage. And she practices what she preaches. She's a 15-time Ironman Triathlete, qualified, participated in the World Championship in Kona. Gosh, I get coffee from there. Kona, Hawaii, back in October 2017. And Jen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And fill us in. What did I leave out there?
You didn't really leave out much. Thanks for having me. Yes. You could say 15-time Ironman Triathlete, been to Kona, speaker, author, all that stuff. Been on the TEDx stage, been a keynote speaker, but that's all great and dandy, right? But I think where I'm at today at 51 years old, living in Costa Rica, and really, truly embracing the Pura Vida life through strength training, walks, sunsets, and coffee time, meditation, journaling, but then still working on my business. I too launched a podcast as well. And the amount of gratitude and abundance that I've been receiving for the podcast alone has filled my cup way beyond that I never ever have felt before.
That's amazing. I think that's the way it is when you give back. And I interact with another psychologist on Twitter, and we were talking about gratitude, and we teach that gratitude is a muscle, and there's actually research that gratitude can, and here's right up your alley, that gratitude can reduce overall body inflammation. So if you're somebody with an autoimmune disorder, one of the best things you can do for your body is the regular practice of gratitude. And I found the same thing in podcasting. We had some people reach out and ask us to start doing this, and we just love doing it to give back. So we're glad that you're having a similar journey. Well, let's jump right into it, Jen, and tell us, how do you find that people defeat themselves before the starting pistol ever fires?
I think I mean, my first initial thought would be based off of words. Like, it's something that I talk about with my triathletes. You have the little angel on your shoulder and you have the little devil on your shoulder. The little angel is talking to you and telling you how amazing you are and how wonderful you are and how you're going to crush this race, or you're going to crush this, test, whatever you're taking, or whatever, whatever that might be. But then you got this little devil on your shoulder talking to you, be like, why are you doing this? You're not good enough. You're slow as molasses. You're going to be the last person. You're going to get an F in this test, or whatever that might be. And I think it's all about the self-talk. And I feel as I've gotten older, I've had to literally kick the little devil off the shoulder and only have listened to the little angel. And I see that in the race course all the time with me. I can't hear you.
Oh, my mic went out. Sometimes mine is more like an elephant. I have to get a big mental bulldozer or something to get rid of the darn thing. But isn't that the case? Yes, people really defeat themselves before they ever get started. And one of my colleagues, Sarah, says the only difference between I can and I can is an apostrophe T. So in our lives, if we'll get rid of, isn't that cool? In our lives, if we'll get rid of that apostrophe T, it's amazing how much we can do. And also, I find that people, well, let's just say when it comes to fitness, to you, I would imagine fitness is very simple. It's kind of a no-brainer. But to many people, it's not. They don't know how to get
Correct.
started. They think it's complicated. They sabotage themselves before they ever get to the starting line. I have a phrase, I'm going to make it into a big poster and hang it on my wall that says everything, everything, everything. I say it 3 times. Everything, everything, everything is figure outable. And it is. Goodness, there's Google, there's YouTube, and there's just giving your brain time to let things percolate and figure it out. And so, what do you think is the difference between somebody that just gets out there and does it and has that Iron Man, Iron Woman athlete mindset and those that don't?
Oof. I think a lot of people possibly don't know where to start, because when they see me, and this is why I started my podcast, when they see me, they think, oh, 15-time Ironman triathlete. She's been to Kona. That's easy. No, I hated running growing up. I hated it. And so I think it was figuring out that why do I want to do this Ironman triathlete? But then I started realizing how important fitness was for me. When I found fitness, whether it's a swim, bike, run, strength train, yoga, whatever that might be, when I found that in my life, my confidence gained, my emotional status improved, my higher power or my universe, whatever, my beliefs improved. Like, once I started focusing on the fitness of my life, that's when I started seeing a whole bunch of other stuff
And I want to
blend
say,
together.
I don't think, I can't recall the last time I had this happen, but I'm kind of a fuzzy was the guy. I just had chills run down my back when you said the word, when you figured out your why. And I think that people don't really understand how important that is, that when you have the proper why, when you drill down to your why, then the how is going to take care of itself. Now, I stole that from Viktor Frankl, who says that, and I think Frankl stole it from Nietzsche, I believe it was, that if you have a why, you can survive almost anyhow. And Frankl had this running through his head when he was sitting in a Nazi concentration camp
Oof.
in World War II. After the Nazis had killed, some of you that follow me have heard this story. After the Nazis had killed his mom, his dad, I think his sibling, his wife, who I believe was pregnant, and Frankel still said, if you have a why, you can survive most anyhow. And I want to say that once you discover your why, that the how will take care of itself. And I think that the reason people are missing out on some of this, let's just take fitness. You know, why isn't everybody just fit? Why doesn't everybody just get out there and do a 5K a few days a week? It's because they don't have a proper why to do it. And so I think in my life, the first step is finding meaning. You know, what's the meaning in what I'm going to be doing? So let's, my next question there is, how would you recommend that somebody in business who's been very successful in business
Sure.
apply that success to going from flabby to fit personally? How would they get started doing that?
I mean, you could go back to the why, right? Because if if you're flabby and you're stressed as all get out and you got high cholesterol or diabetes or whatever that might be, you're not going to be around for your business. You are not going to be around for your family. If you're sitting there trying to provide and provide and provide, and then you're not taking care of yourself physically, you won't be around to see how your business ends up. Um,
That's powerful.
and
Yeah, I view my life as something. Number one, I did not give myself. I did not create myself. I'm not here because of myself. That kind of begs the question, where did it come from? And I believe it is a gift. So why wouldn't
Mhm.
I take this gift and provide it with appropriate appreciation by taking care of it? What if I
Mhm.
bought, I don't know, if I could afford it, you guys a Lamborghini, and then you let it rust and you didn't change the oil and you didn't keep it fueled up and the tires rotated and you just let the darn thing fall apart? Well, I think that would be disrespectful. You're actually, I see many people, they're actually showing disrespect to their bodies. And I had a buddy of mine that would talk about treating things like a chainsaw. You can't treat your body like a chainsaw and expect for it not to wear out. I tell people all the
Exactly.
time that you may be very capable. You may be very capable today, right now, but today will pass. And then tomorrow you may be capable, but that will pass too. So I'm sure you've seen people like I have that are our age, actually not our age because you're quite a bit younger than me, but that are at this age and they're very incapable. I mean,
Hmm.
by the way, here's a quick goofy fitness tip. I don't know if Gene you've ever heard of that, but there's actually some research that the better you're able to get down into the floor and get up off of the floor bodes well for future independence and lack of disability. You could practice every day, just get down in the floor if you can safely do so, and then get back up out of the floor. And then you can, I mean, because some people, that's the best they can do. So, what I'm talking about is we're not asking you to go to a Ironman competition with Jen. We're just asking you to get started doing something. I remember finishing grad school and I was so unfit. And I ran the half mile in high school. I sucked at it. I was never very good at it, but I ran anyway. And I got really unfit in college and I got started just walking around the block. And I would
Hmm.
walk around the block every day. And then my wife would walk around the block with me. And then without her, I would jog around the block. And then I got to where I would run around the block. And then the block wasn't big enough. And so I'd run down the road. And I'd run
Yep.
I don't know, a quarter mile down the road, And that's 440 yards, guys. four and a half football fields. That's it. And then I'll skip ahead. And I'm not recommending this, it's just something I did. I was running 6 miles a day, 6 days a week. I was running 36 miles a week. And gosh, talk about dropping the weight. My wife said I was too skinny. I don't do that anymore, but I do get up every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I do high intensity interval training. You guys can Google
Yep.
that. But don't wait to do what I do or what Jen does. Just do something. The thing that's going to
Right.
put you in the grave quickest is doing nothing. Don't wait on perfection to get started. Fitness is not going to show up at your front door. You have to get up and go out there and get it. Well, we're going to go to what I call the triple shot and ask Jen some kind of surprising questions here. What Jen, do you currently struggle with the most with your mindset?
Fear of not having enough money.
Oh, okay. And what do you do? What about your best mindset hack? What do you do about that?
I meditate and I journal daily.
Really, how does that help believing you're not going to have enough money? What effect does that have
It
on that?
I get into the now. I
Oh,
focus on the present,
that's
right?
awesome.
And so what will happen is that I will, and this is when you message me, you're like, "Hey, we're jumping on." I'm like, "Okay, I had to finish my meditation and my coffee time, right?" But I go out there and I just sit with myself and I sit there and say, and I did this speech about this at the University of Wisconsin Whitewater. I was a commencement speaker, and I talked about, my three thank yous. And my three thank you is I thank you for my past, I thank you for my now, and I thank you for my present. I thank you for my past, for being who I am and who I become today. I thank you for my now. And I thank you for the ocean, the birds chirping,
Ah,
whatever that might be. And then I thank for my future. I don't know what my future is going to bring me, and nor do I need to know. I need to go back to the now. So if I'm sitting there worrying about money, it's not doing me any justice.
and it's
I
pulling
have to
you out of the
stay.
now.
It's pulling me out of the now.
It's pulling you out of
Bingo.
the now. Here's some quick neuroscience for you guys. Your brain has a marvelous ability I'm trying to get on camera here, to switch back and forth between present moment awareness, PMA, present moment awareness, and thoughts about the future and thoughts about the past. And that's fine. Your brain is made
Right.
to do that. But thoughts about the past, the future, and anything other than present moment awareness is the default mode network, the DMN. And the DMN is great. I mean, it helps with planning and goal setting and, sequencing things together. I'm going to grab a cup. I'm going to make my coffee. I'm going to pour my coffee in the cup. I'm going to put creamer in the cup. This is French vanilla, by the way. And I'm going to put, well, for me, Splenda in the cup. I'm going to stir up the stuff in the cup. I'm going to put the liquid in my mouth. All of that is default
Mhm.
mode network because before I've done it, I've already created a video of going to do it. Now, that's important. However, if you're stuck in that all the time, it becomes extremely unhealthy because you're never in the moment. You're always planning for next, 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 next,
Mhm.
next. You're doing you're I got to do this and I got to do that and I got to do this other thing. I got to do, which I call do brain. So get rid of your doo brain and be
Yes.
in the moment. And what does this do for you? Oh my goodness! I'll just give you a couple. Um, it can reduce. It can improve your immune system. It can improve your sleep quality. It can improve your relationships, and it can improve your life overall because you don't miss the clouds, the butterflies, the blades of grass, and the
Mhm.
four-leaf clover that you might have overlooked before. And Jen and I are old enough that you might remember a song, I'm overlooking a four-leaf clover, that I overlooked
Of
before
course.
from the 70s. Some of you youngsters don't recall that. Okay. Um, well, on the way out, Jen, I say this last, but what's maybe a positive affirmation, a healthy affirmation you use to embiggen, Ant-Man term, embiggen your mindset that we could leave our viewers with today?
So it's interesting you asked this because I watched a video with Wayne Dryer, and
Dr. Wayne
I don't
Dyer,
know.
yeah.
Oh, Dyer, thank you.
Yeah.
And I thought this was absolutely genius about like when you fall asleep at night, those words that you say to yourself are going to be starting into your subconscious mind, right? So if you sit there and you're like, oh, I'm worried about money, I'm stressing out about this, I'm doing this, you sit there and you're going to go into that deep sleep with that type of
Ah,
mindset, right? So over the last 3 months, I have said the same repeated pattern for myself. I am enough. I am worthy. I have enough money. I have money flowing over my body. I am loved. I love to be loved. It's just my own insecurities that I deal with, but I flip it, right? I have to flip it. And so I will do that every single night before I fall asleep. I'm not worrying about what I didn't get done. I'm not worrying about, oh my God, is my car am I dealing with terrible brakes? Like I'm not dealing with that. I'm going into what I need for my heart and my soul and my brain.
that's fantastic. I call that positive mental programming. You guys know I'm big on my acronyms. Positive mental programming, which another way of thinking of it is pimping your mind, pimping your
Mm.
brain. Positive mental programming. Get out there, pimp your brain. Get out there and get started doing some fitness. Thank you for joining us. And Jen, thank you for joining us. Tell
Thank
folks how
you.
they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, you could go to jenrulon.com. I have my own app out. So if you're not sure on fitness aspects, I have over 50 workouts in there. First 7 days are free. All you have to do is go to the Apple Store, type in JenRulon. It's all right there. And I'm starting the Everyday Healthy Human program where people could go in and do something every day for 6 weeks. And if you don't want to do that, you could go to my podcast, the Everyday Healthy Human Podcast.
Guys, check it out. Thank you so much, Jen. Get out there and do something
Thank you.
healthy. Bye bye, guys.
Ciao.